If there's one common denominator that exists regarding human traits of all races in the world, that would be the fear of making mistakes, especially if they include money. We bet you're laughing right now because you know it's true. Even wasting $3 over an item bought by mistake is already insanely frustrating. So could you imagine how those people who wasted thousands and millions and even billions of their cash felt when they did it? To help you visualize it, in this video, we'll be showing you 5 of the most frustratingly expensive mistakes that people made. And unfortunately, some of these mistakes caused the lives of others. Hello everyone, and welcome to GenZone. Before we get into the video, please continue to show your support on our channel by liking, subscribing with the notification bell so you never miss out on future uploads. Number 5. $13 billion Columbia disintegrated on re-entry. Some of you might be aware and can't forget the Space Shuttle Columbia crash, which happened in 2003. That sadly became one of the most regrettable spacecraft accidents that went down in history. When the shuttle was on its way home after a 16-day voyage, it was tragically torn apart, consequently ending the lives of 7 astronauts on board the very moment it entered the Earth's atmosphere, merely due to a foam that fell off from the shuttle's external tank. NASA disclosed that during Columbia's takeoff, it also encountered the same problem, only that nothing could be done to correct the issue. And with that being said, it's apparently not surprising when the agency was lambasted and received massive public scrutiny for not taking precautions to secure the foam on the shuttle's tank. This unfortunate event is also what led the whole National Aeronautics and Space Administration Space Shuttle fleet to retire in 2011, which we guess is understandable with all the amount of damage and negative criticism that NASA encountered. If only politicians would be so noble and resign when they make drastic mistakes. Number 4. $20 billion Mercedes-Benz buys Chrysler. Mercedes-Benz at first glance seems to be an unbelievable pristine brand, established for decades with its cars that literally speak perfection in its maximum definition. However, this seemingly perfect brand isn't perfect at all. But before you get flustered, we're not talking about the quality of products they release, okay? Their cars are just so perfectly crafted that we can't find any flaws in them, for the most part. What we mean is when Mercedes-Benz, through its parent company, merged with Chrysler in 1998 for $37 billion, with an intent of transforming the two established companies into a single automobile powerhouse known as Daimler Chrysler. The company's goal during that time was to dominate the car market both in the USA and Europe. However, due to cultural clashes and differences in product qualities, the two companies failed to stand the test of time. This is basically what led Daimler-Benz to sell Chrysler in 2007 for $7 billion to a company whose forte is to restructure failing corporations, the Cerberus Capital Management firm. Number 3. $61 billion Deepwater Horizon oil spill. With the love we have for our green Earth today, even a 10-gallon oil spill would be enough to trigger the rage deep in your sympathetic emotional pockets. Well, what more would you consider when you hear about this mistake that we'll be exposing next? Considered as the worst oil spill recorded in the history of man, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico literally broke the record when it released over 210 million gallons of oil after an explosion on the drilling rig. Following this disastrous event is the extremely high threat towards the marine and wildlife habitats from Louisiana to Florida for months, which obviously the involved states were not at all happy about. Despite the efforts of stopping the oil flow, it caused major damage. After thorough investigation, it was disclosed by a British company by the name of BP, turned out to be the sole responsible culprit of this Deepwater Horizon rigor. And to make matters worse, the investigation concluded that the company was cutting corners with safety, consequently leading to this ravaging upshot. Supposedly aiming for low cost, this method applied by BP ended up having them to get stuck with a huge $61 billion bill and perhaps a lifetime negative record in the industry. Number 2. $146 billion AOL buys Time Warner. The year 2000 was the period when the dot-com bubble was at its highest peak, and it was in this relevant time that America Online, better known as AOL, was regarded as the hottest tech company in the world. It was also during this year when the Time Warner deal was literally hyped to the maximum level, arousing investors and buyers' interest to acquire Time Warner. Amidst the high competition, AOL, being the leading competitor, was successful in possessing Time Warner when they paid a good amount of $182 billion, adding Time Warner cable package to their then popular home internet offerings. However, since the domain industry is like stock markets that undergo fluctuation every now and then, just a few months later, the dot-com bubble popped, sending the world into a financial crisis. This unfortunate event caused AOL's value to decline rapidly and exponentially. In 2009, Time Warner opted to become a standalone industry, standing out on their own with a valuation of $36 billion. Newly single, AOL's value had dropped to just $2.5 billion. AOL has been long thinking that their reign as the leading home internet service would never come to a cease, but a short span of years proved them very, very wrong. Number 1. $590 billion. Chernobyl disaster. The Chernobyl disaster is the worst, most deadly nuclear accident of all time. Perhaps if you fail to learn about this misfortune, the best people to ask are your grannies and parents. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant, located about 81 miles north of the city of Kyiv, Ukraine, is made up of 4 reactors that were designed to generate electricity through steam released by uranium dioxide heated water. The goal was ambitious, yet some totally preventable mistakes done in the power plant accounted for the lives of more than 40 people. On April 25, 1986, a drill simulating a power outage at Chernobyl led to uncontrolled reactions and a steam fire that burned for 9 days. 134 workers were hospitalized due to radiation exposure, and 31 of them died in the following few weeks. 14 of them would later die from cancers caused by the radiation. The Chernobyl power plant ran on a Soviet-designed reactor that was not up to code for usage anywhere else in the world. Design flaws in that reactor caused the terrible accident, and irreparable damage occurred. Voila! That's the end of our list. Do you think these 5 expensive events of all time deserve to be part of our featured list? Do you know of other mistakes that should be included in this video? If you have anything else in mind, you know what to do. Leave your thoughts, opinions, and comments in the comments section below. And if you're new to GenZone, hit that like button as that helps us out a lot. Subscribe with the notification bell for future updates and interesting videos just like this one. See you in the future.